Hey y'all, it's your girl Danielle Ty. Happy Thursday. I'm tuning in with y'all today on a requested video about my Asian side, my dad's side. So let's get into it. So let me just start with like real quick. I am Chinese and black for my new subscribers. Shout out to y'all. Hello. And shout out to the subscriber who kept on asking me for, a couple of questions about this, who motivated me to do this video. But basically my mom is black and my dad is Chinese. Okay, boom. I met my grandparents one time in my life and I was told that I was 2 years old. So that's one of my earliest memories because I do remember the time that I met them. I'll get into that, but real quick, other than that one time I met them, never talked to them again, don't know anybody on my Asian side, never grew up learning Chinese, speaking Chinese, hearing Chinese from anybody in my family, nothing to do with Chinese. All I knew is that my daddy is Chinese, that's it. And I got Chinese New Year's envelopes for a couple of years, and then that got cut off, but other than that, and I got a piece of jewelry that they gave me, like it was a pearl necklace, so I have that from them. So, but other than that, I have no other connection with my Asian side. I was 2 years old, I guess, when I met them. I remember going to their house, me like a piece of candy. It was like a red one and a green one in these little packages, and they was like sugar on them or something like that. My grandpa was giving it to me, and I guess my grandma was making up the bed. I just remember a sheet, like she was making up the bed, and they just talking to me in Chinese, and I'm looking at them like I have no idea what they talking about. And my dad is like, they asking you how you doing. Like my dad just looked like he did not want to be there, and I was like, you don't want to be here, something about it don't feel right. When it came to family trees, I could not ask about family trees. Like, don't ask me about no family tree. You don't need to know none of that information. Like, hear my dad speak Chinese, foreign. Like, never heard him speak Chinese like that. And when I would, I'll be like, just so fascinated. Like, I used to beg him when I was little, like, ooh, teach me how to speak Chinese, teach me how to speak Chinese, you know? And it was never a question. Being a little girl, it didn't bother me too much. I really didn't care necessarily. I did wonder because I knew like I only got one grandma, one grandpa, and I'm like a lot of other people got, so, but I was just like whatever. But it didn't really start bothering me, I felt like, until I started going to like middle school and high school. So like in elementary school, I did kick it with a lot of Asians, and I would go to their house and I would see how cultural they was. Like they have statues, Buddha, they have a real culture. And then I would like, like once we got to middle school, that's when people started kind of like going into their separate groups, and I would notice like a lot of, like I kicked it with some of the Asians for the first year, but I was like, don't none of the Asian boys like me, like none of them want to have nothing to do with me, they like all my other Asian partners. And I started almost feeling like I didn't fit in, and it was like, okay. So then 7th grade year, I started kicking it with my partner Adeline and Alejandra. They was both Mexican, and I kicked it with them all 7th grade. Them was my man. We used to take pictures and stuff at the mall together, and that lasted a year because I used to feel some type of way when everybody used to start speaking Spanish. I'd be like, bro, we was all just speaking English. Like when we started speaking Spanish. So I felt left out again. And then in 8th grade, and I started kicking it with Chubb and my partner Kira, and I was like, okay, I found where I belong, and they black. So ever since then, I was just like, this is who I fit in with. So I kind of noticed thing growing up, going into high school, like, damn, I do feel more comfortable with black people than I do with Asian people, and I kind of started seeing a divide. And by that time, my mom and dad was already divorced. They divorced when I was like in 5th grade, so I was like that was already taken out. So now my dad is out of the equation, out of the house. I don't know none of my Asian family, and I'm just being raised by my mom. Cool. When I was 19, I had said one day, I was like, Dad, like, I really want to meet my grandparents. Like, I want to know my Asian side. I want to know that part of me. I always felt like not an incomplete, but like, how much can I just be like, I'm Chinese and black, and then and I don't know anything about Chinese besides my name is Danielle Ty and my dad is Chinese. Like, so I'm like, how much can I really put pride into that if I don't even know what it's about? Like, I can only go off of how I seen my friends being raised, you feel me, and other Asians. But we had a serious talk about it. It was basically like, don't bring it up to me, it's just, you're not gonna meet them. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like, well, I didn't get it, you know what I mean? And it took me years to understand, and I'm just probably understanding that shit now, last year, you know what I mean? Like, I had just like a couple of years ago, maybe like 3 years ago, kicking it around a lot of Asian friends and stuff like that, like new friends, and we would get super drunk. And I never even knew I was so emotional about it, but we getting drunk and being with them, I'm looking at them and I'm like, bruh, like, this is like we're eating and they're like, yeah, you know, you family, da 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 da, you Asian, da da da, yeah, and they telling me things about myself that I don't know, that nobody has ever told me, like, yeah, that's Asian, those are Asian qualities. Like, they would be like, man, you don't even know that's your Asian side. I'm over here like, really? Like, I'm getting to know myself, because it's so many things about me that I thought was from, you know, that is from my black side, but I thought was strictly from my black side. That time in my life, just being around them was so meaningful to me, because I'll never really get the chance to be around, like, I've accepted that I'll never meet my Asian side of the family, and you know, it hurts, because I wish I could. Like, I got Asian family, I got Asian cousins out there, like auntie, like, I wonder how do they look, like how beautiful they are, like are they kind, how do they dress, what's their style, like how would our relationship be? It's so many questions that I've always had that I just have to understand and accept that they will always go unanswered, you know. And I didn't even want to cry today. Like, oh, that's how much I guess that shit still be affecting me, bruh. Because it's like accepting something, like it is just a part of me that I will never know, never really truly intimately know, you know. And that shit sucks, bruh. But that's gonna be the end of this video. Next week, I'm actually going back home to the Bay. I'm so excited. And what part of the request that my subby had asked me for was to get my brother point of view from it, because my older brother is fully black. So imagine him, my dad been in my brother's life since he was 2 years old. So imagine my brother is telling people like, oh yeah, my dad is gonna come pick me up, and then like this Asian dude come up, they're like, yo, dad. I appreciate y'all for watching. Again, shout out to you, subby. Thank you for, you know, requesting this video. Excuse me for getting emotional, don't judge me. I love you guys. Stay tuned for next Thursday, and I'm out.